great. That was just spectacular. All right, so that was awesome. Thanks to you at home for joining us this hour, too. Super to have you with us here. As we close in on the third round of Democratic presidential primary debates, the acute angle of the funnel that the candidates are going through right now is starting to pinch a little bit. Now, I think it's fair to say that the Democratic Party knew that a lot of people were going to get into this presidential primary to try to earn the right to challenge this incumbent president. Right? That it's not rocket science to figure that out. It's nothing personal about the president, but when you are the president with the lowest average approval rating of all U.S. presidents of all time, when you are the most scandal-plagued president in the history of the country, not just since Watergate, but in the history of the country, when you have literally been named by federal prosecutors as individual one in the commission of multiple felonies, when your business, your foundation, your inaugural committee have all come under criminal investigation while you are serving as president, and your foundation, in fact, was shut down by authorities as an illegal fraud, when you literally had to start your presidency by paying a $25 million settlement to settle other totally unrelated allegations about another one of your alleged frauds, when your longtime personal lawyer has just gone to federal prison, when your campaign chairman is in federal prison, when your deputy campaign chairman is awaiting sentencing and so is your national security advisor, when literally your sister had to resign from the judiciary because of her apparent involvement in a long-running multi-million-dollar criminal tax fraud scheme, a scheme that appears to have been basically run by her brother, which is you, the president. I mean, when all of those things are true about the sitting president, yeah, you're going to get some challengers. You are going to get some challengers for that job that you now hold. I mean, with a record like that, with just that balance sheet, you would get a lot of challengers for your job, even if you weren't a president who frequently went online and started ranting like a living, breathing, evil, dark side version of the label on a bottle of Dr. Bronner's soap. So, yes, I think it's fair to say that the Democratic Party knew. I love Dr. Bronner's soap. I'm positive on Dr. Bronner's. I'm just saying the president these days, today in particular, sounds like he's being translated through a few different foreign languages, all in caps, and anyway. Needless to say, the Democratic Party knew a lot of people were going to get into the primary to try to run against Trump, to try to earn the right to challenge this president on behalf of the Democratic Party. But I think it is also fair to say that the Democratic Party did not know that they would be fielding the largest presidential primary of all time. I mean, we thought that 17 candidates in the 2016 Republican field was nuts. Democrats this year blew through that record and kept going. Not 17, we'll go 18, 19, 20, 21. How high can they go? I mean, I don't think the Democratic Party could have anticipated with even a field this large, that the inclusion rules that they set for their first two debates would result in 20 Democratic candidates making it onto the stage for those debates. 20. But that is just how it worked out. Once that remarkable result was clear, though, for those first two debates, the Democratic Party took steps to make sure the third debate would be a tougher ticket. You would have to up your fundraising base to 130,000 donors. And in addition, you would need to hit 2% in national polls or early state polls. At least 4 polls, you'd need 2%. And those are not terrible rules. Those are not terribly onerous rules on the face of it. But those are tougher rules than were in place for the first two debates. And these new, tougher third debate rules, thus far, look like they are going to result in significantly fewer Democratic candidates making it onto the stage, maybe like roughly half. Now, I mentioned the acuteness of the funneling angle here and how it is starting to pinch this field a little bit. Part of the way you can see that as the number of candidates goes from this big to this big is that the candidates who are losing out, who are being squeezed out as a result of these stricter rules, they're mad about it. As you might imagine, but they're not just stewing on it, they are publicly saying so.
I am proud to be a Democrat. And I stand here grateful for the work you do day in and day out to strengthen our party. I'm ready to lead our party and our country to victory next November. But I gotta be honest, and I say it with love. The DNC process is stifling debate at a time when we need it most. We're rewarding celebrity candidates with millions of Twitter followers, billionaires who buy their way onto the debate stage, and candidates who have been running for president for years. It forces campaigns to force over millions of dollars to Facebook, the same platform that let the Russians interfere in 2016 instead of harnessing the resources to talk to voters. If we wanted to be the party that excluded people, we'd be Republicans. These rules have created exactly the wrong outcomes, and they will not help us beat Donald Trump. I'm not going to be on the debate stage next month, but I am going to be out in Iowa and New Hampshire and South Carolina and Nevada building the constituency for change this country needs.
Colorado Senator Michael Bennet at the Democratic National Party's big summer meeting in San Francisco, saying that while the Democratic National Committee chairman, Tom Perez, sits right next to him looking on while he lambastes the process that is resulting in him, among others, not getting into the third round of debates. So the Democrats who are not going to make the September debate, at least some of them, are expressing their anger and their frustration and their argument against this process, which is having the effect of winnowing them out of this process. And, you know, as Senator Bennet alluded to there when he said, I'm not going to be on the debate stage, but I am going to be out in Iowa, New Hampshire, South Carolina, and Nevada. I mean, it is possible that campaigns can build support and momentum some way other than the debates, right, when candidates don't make it onto those debate stages. But that's a heavy lift, and the candidates know that. And so in addition to that kind of angry statement that you got now from Michael Bennet and from some of the other candidates who are getting squeezed out from the third debate, in addition to that, the other thing that the September debate rules are doing is they are pushing some candidates out of the race entirely when those candidates confront the realization that they are not going to make it onto the next debate stage. And so that looming September debate, that looming third debate, has started a sort of shedding season where candidates are now starting to take themselves out of the running. And, you know, the parties will always have to have some way to determine who makes it onto the debate stages and who doesn't, right? Otherwise, you know, you'd have a debate stage with 1,000 people and a ton of also-rans and prank candidates and all that. I mean, there always has to be some criteria. That's always been the case in every campaign for both major parties. There will always be some controversy that attends to that in terms of the parties, you know, constraining who gets into the debates. But the aggressive winnowing that's happening right now between the first and second debates and these next debates that are coming up, this is also, you know, it's obviously really shaking the Democrats who aren't going to make that next debate stage. It also inevitably has the knock-on effect of shining a brighter spotlight and directing more scrutiny to the smaller number of candidates that is making it through that funnel, that is going to be in contention on that soon to be much smaller stage. And so tonight, I wanted to take a look at the strength of that field. And part of my thinking about this tonight is that things are crazy right now in the news. And everybody's, you know, able to follow the headlines over the course of the day. And sometimes, you know, there's a lot that I feel like we can offer on the daily news of every day and every bit of craziness that emerges from this administration. But when it comes to the Democrats who are trying to replace this president, talking about them just on their own terms, I feel like sometimes stopping, looking at everything the president's doing and looking at what these Democrats are offering instead gives you a much clearer view rather than trying to see him, see them, see him, see them. Just focus on them for a second. And the reason I wanted to do this now is because we did this once before. And we actually got more positive feedback on it from you guys than anything else we have done on this TV show in this hour this entire year. It was right after the first debate, the one that was hosted by NBC and MSNBC and Telemundo, the one that we did in Miami. The night after that first debate in Miami, basically on this show, we did a whole show that was the Democratic candidates put their best foot forward. Because the reason these debates are such a huge deal at this point in the race, the reason it is such a fantastically high-stakes decision for the DNC to be progressively making the rules harder and harder so that there are higher and higher barriers for candidates to get into these debates, the reason that's a potentially determinative thing is because it's not just a killer to be absent from that debate stage. It's because once you do make it onto that debate stage, I swear, you can do yourself so much good.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.